can just start smelling the smoke coming in. Our first response was obviously to give everybody calls to see if everybody was okay. Knowing that there was a lot of people who had lost their homes, we just started talking to our members, and especially a lot of our elderly folks and folks that suffer from respiratory diseases. It was really important for us to ensure that they were getting masks. So I think it was like within the first 2 days, we distributed around 6,000 masks around our neighborhood. Then when we started hearing that our water was potentially contaminated because the fires had gotten so close and all the ash that was falling into the water reservoirs was contaminating our water supply, then we just got into the mode of like buying water and ensuring our community has drinkable water. And then community members calling to complain about prices of food going up and prices of like supplies going up. I mean, $16 a carton of eggs is like what we're looking at here in LA right now. And so ensuring that our food distribution was happening and that we were actually not just doing the food distribution locally, but if people that couldn't come to the food distribution were able to get some food and nourishment for them. So it's been very hectic because amongst the midst of like us doing all of this work and all of this support, the school's closed down. I have 3 kids and my son does suffer from respiratory issues. He was born with very low lung capacities. He used oxygen till the age of 3, making sure that he has the ability to breathe clean and safe air. I think it's imperative. Some of our folks lost days of work because they needed to take care of their children, and they have to make that difficult choice of whether they stay at home with their kids and they lose their job because some employers aren't as compassionate or don't care. The city council refused to pass an eviction moratorium for fires in LA. We know that there's a lot of people that have been evacuated and displaced, and a lot of landlords are going to take advantage of that in order for them not to be able to return to their homes. So we were asking for an eviction moratorium overall and a freeze in the court system for evictions not to go through, because while we have this crisis of people being homeless, we don't need more families being on the streets. They basically postponed the vote for another session. Today, cases are being heard at the courts, at different courts in the city of Los Angeles, and people are getting evicted right now. These are consequences of like decisions that have been made over years. Things like this don't just happen. Things like this happen because the city's not doing what it's supposed to do, and the budget reflects that. We've been living in constant crisis, that our demands have to be more radicalized. So it's not just about eviction moratoriums anymore. It has to be about all these vacant units needing to be occupied by either the victims who no longer have housing or the people that are unhoused right now and need housing. Since 2008, there's been a lot of vacant homes throughout the county of Los Angeles that can be tapped into for people to take over and to really make it their homes. Right now, what we're seeing in Los Angeles is that we have a homeless population that has been existing, and now a homeless population that has been created through these fires, and we need to create a response to that, not separately, but together, of how we're gonna house all these folks and how we're gonna do it in a way that we're also not putting people into debt. We should have, in Spanish, they're called consultas populares, where basically when governments really want to understand what people need, they go to the different communities, they sit with them, they have conversation, they have debate, and then they come together and say, this is what we found, this is what it's needed. Now together, let's collectivize our voices and our votes to see where do we start first. And that is something that doesn't happen here. The rebuilding of Los Angeles usually happens in closed doors, where politicians and investors and all these people that have the money are making the decisions, and communities are not being heard, or their input's not even on the table. We're demanding not just the chair on the table, we're demanding the freaking table, so we can let you know what it is that our communities actually need.